We're very happy to have Todd Hyra with us today. He is the Western Business Manager for SeCan based out of Manitoba. He has also served as president of the Canadian Seed Trade Association and is an advocate for certified seed. He has served as CSTA's representative on the Minister of Agriculture's Plant Breeders' Rights Advisory Committee, Seed Synergy Oversight Committee, and working groups of the Seed and Grains Value Chain Roundtables. Today, he'll be talking about seed supply and options for seed growers. So thank you very much, Todd. I will turn it over to you.
All right, thanks, Lori, and thanks everybody. It's great to be here. I'll just get this fired up. I won't take a ton of everybody's time, but I wanted to just talk about recertification as an opportunity to extend the pedigreed seed supply. And so this is maybe a little slanted towards some of my opinions and the uses that I've had, but I think it's valuable information that others could benefit from. And so I want to talk about what it is, how to do it, and some of the watch-outs in the process. And so as SeCan, I'm also, one of my big responsibilities is ensuring that plant breeders' rights are protected. And so a big part of that for me is ensuring a good supply of pedigreed seeds so that legitimate pedigreed seed is available as the first choice for customers. And so as we started to talk to our members throughout the summer and fall of 2021 and looking at the drought conditions across the prairies, it became pretty evident that seed supplies in some areas and some crop types were going to be hit harder than others. And so specifically within our lineup, it was really noticeable that the peas in particular were getting hit hard by the drought. Peas, oats, barley were kind of the big three that were impacted the most. Flax, durum, also wheat, not as much. Spring wheat, not as much. So we started working with our members and with CSGA last fall to look at recertification to try and shore up stocks of pedigreed seed. And so the whole goal was to ensure that there's a legitimate supply of, well, first of all, certified, but not only that, but other classes of seed to make sure that seed growers have what they need to serve their customers. Lori and Jasmine, is hopefully you're not seeing the audio controls blocking the screen for everybody, are they, or are they okay?
No, we can only see your slide, Todd. It looks great. If there's a window in your way, you can try clicking the orange arrow in the top left corner of the go-to panel, but that might not be what you're seeing.
Yeah, they're good now. Okay, I got to move that out of the way. I just want to make sure that wasn't blocking everybody's view. Nope. And so what is recertification? It's an opportunity to go essentially from one class to that same class again. So producing foundation from foundation, or registered from registered, or certified from certified. And all the other rules within the pedigreed seed system remain in place. So cropping history, isolation distances, field inspections, all of those remain in place. And so given the short supplies this past year and risk of losing supplies as crop is cleaned and germ drop, just something to keep in your mind as an option to shore up supplies, not only for 2022, but also for 2023 and maybe beyond. We all recognize that crops like peas take a while to ramp up, and if you lose or are running very close to the limit of your supply this year, it doesn't give you much buffer room for future years. And so that's why I wanted to start working on this now with Saskatchewan Pulse Growers, as well as members across Western Canada, to ensure that they've got a good supply for stock, not only for 2022, but 2023. Important to keep in mind that this is not a shortcut, it's not a quick fix, it's not cheap, it takes time, energy, and cost. It's about identifying the need as quickly as possible so that actions can be taken. For example, we did a couple of fields of new malt varieties last fall. We were still able to do this in August because those fields could be inspected. We had members request it for peas and flax as well, but the opportunity had been missed because those fields couldn't be inspected during the flowering period. So peas and flax we weren't able to get any additional fields of those last year. Important also to consider the need has to be justified. It's not, if there's good supplies of alternate sources available of those varieties and those classes of seed, then it's pretty hard to justify. It really takes some special circumstances to justify it. You need approval from the distributor, the breeder, Canadian Seed Growers Association, and AOSCA as well, which is the oversight body of international feed growers. So there's a few steps involved. And then that last bullet point is the $2,500 cost per crop certificate or per seed source to have this done. And that's a CSGA fee for them to do all the paperwork to have this go forward. And so in terms of steps, start discussions early, discuss your supplies with your distributor and your breeder, review the justification and seek written approvals. And so if you're a seed grower from Saskatchewan, you'd work with SPG on the SPG varieties. They would seek permission from the breeders and then work through CSGA on that. An important consideration is to make sure that all reasonable seed sources have been exhausted first. So that means networking, talking to other seed growers. So if you have supplies of Spectrum or Lawachco, for example, of any class, let me know, because we have needs for those in in Alberta and Manitoba, and we can move some of that seed around. Once those, if you've exhausted all other opportunities and had those discussions with your distributor, then we would complete the CSGA form. Missed a step. We would seek permission from the breeders as well to make sure that they're on side with this step. And then we would submit form 210 to CSGA, and that's completed by the distributor. It's important. An important piece is because you're doing this on a per seed lot or per seed source basis, it's important to ensure that you're working together. So rather than spending $2,500 on multiple people, if there's one good lot and seed growers can work together with that same lot and extend a foundation supply or extend a registered seed supply, then by all means do that so that costs are shared and it helps make the seed go further. Once you've got those documents in place and those permissions are in place and you've got made a good case for this justification, you'd apply for your normal crop inspection, keeping in mind, once again, that the field must meet its certification requirements for history, isolation, and inspection. The seed fee for this through CSGA was $2,500. That's the posted rate. In 2021, they actually reduced that to $500, but there's been no decisions that I'm aware of made on that fee going forward. But they did adjust that this past year, which was great, quite helpful. And then the last point on this slide is patience. The approvals take time, so they needed to be approved by the distributor and the breeder. Those happen pretty quick. CSGA, they have to go through an approval process within their organization, as well as external to AOSCA, which take time. And so SeCan we did 3 different crop types last year. So first example was an older forage, Norgold sweet clover actually, where there was no breeder seed left available. And so we had a remnant supply of foundation seed that we went foundation to foundation. Seed grower was successfully able to produce seed in 2021. And so that supply will be available to other seed growers and keeps that variety going while the stock seed is being wrapped up. So that started around this time in 2021 where we started working on that one. We did one wheat variety where there happened to be a bubble in the pipeline on a relatively new variety, but it just so happened that seed was demoted from select to foundation very quickly, and in 4 years, essentially there was no registered seed left. So we worked with CSGA and a small handful of seed growers to get seed going while breeder seed and stock seed was being revamped on that one. And then in season, we did a couple of barley fields, a small number, to shore up supplies in some areas where crop was really hammered by drought, and to make sure that some of the new varieties had a reasonable supply. Once again, the goal is to make sure that seed growers have what they need, not only from a certified seed perspective, but a registered or foundation perspective, to make sure that it's not just that supplies are going forward into the future and not hitting the wall with no seed being suddenly available. So the whole goal is to use this as a bridge to get to proper good stocks of seed supplies. So that's kind of the process in a nutshell. Once again, I can't say enough how important it is to use up the existing supplies first and network growers to ensure that the seed is used up. If you're looking and want to see the form, it is Form 210 on the CSGA Seed Growers website, and got a link embedded in my presentation if you happen to want to be able to type that out. Happy to take questions now, or my email and phone numbers here. Happy to take calls from members or growers just interested in this process. If you happen to have supplies available of yellow peas, let your local SeCan rep know, because we're networking members right now to make sure that we use up all the certified registered foundation that we can available to make sure that everybody gets what they need for 2022 and into the future. So I'll end the slide sharing there now. And if anybody has any questions, be happy to answer them.
Well, thank you so much, Todd. We really appreciate that. And we appreciate your expertise in the seed industry. And thank you for taking the time today to share the process of recertification. It's good to have options in situations where there are extreme seed shortages, so we really appreciate it. I don't see that we have, what's that?
I was just going to say, yeah, 2021 was certainly a challenging year, and I think it's important for last closing comment would be that seed growers look at what their supplies look like and play them out over a 2 or 3 year season to make sure that they are taken care of and don't find themselves in a tough spot, because it does take time to get crops like peas ramped up.
Yes, it does. So thanks again. Just encourage anyone who has questions to send them to Todd or go through us, and we'll make sure that you have the information that you need. Thanks again.